Good morning. It is 6:33 a.m. on Monday, July 22nd, 2019. I'm Christiana Ellis and I just got up. This is 5 more minutes. So there was a lot of stuff that I didn't accomplish this last weekend, but it was hot outside, you see. I did do some cleaning. It wasn't an entirely lazy weekend. Check out how clean my counter is back there. Look at that. So technically it would have been that clean yesterday if you looked. But anyway, um, I, wow, my brain just suddenly misfired there. So I spent a chunk of this weekend binging the new season of Veronica Mars, which is now available on Hulu. And I gather it was kind of I hadn't really been following any of that or anything. I didn't actually even know a new season was coming until all the headlines I saw were surprise early release of Veronica Mars season 4. And I'm like, oh, well, I watched seasons 1 through 3 on TV and then the movie, and now so yeah, I mean, I'm a Veronica Mars fan, so I was definitely there for that. And yeah, so I watched it. I'm not going to spoil anything. It certainly is a show that is very twisty and turny. So there are certainly things that theoretically could be spoiled if spoilers really bother you. So I won't get into that. But what I will say is that I was a fan of the season. I think it's pretty good. It deals with not only a mystery, but of course the personal issues of Veronica herself and the various supporting characters, some more than others. We had a couple of the side characters where it was nice to see them, but they didn't really have a lot to do. And that's fine because I think at some point some of that stuff is fan service. I mean, when you've had a show with as many like gaps in as this one has had, it's, I think mostly there's a lot of just, but we want to see what Wallace is up to. And I do want to see what Wallace is up to, even if there is a pretty big stretch to try to actually include him in the story of this season at all. It's fine. So I will say that probably pretty much any character that you want to hear from, you're going to hear from. And there's a lot going on. There's some cool stuff with Veronica encountering a girl who's kind of just like, she's sort of the Veronica 2.0. It's like Veronica herself is older now, right? And so when she encounters a teenager with moxie who's wanting to investigate a mystery of her own, it's an interest. There's some interesting parallels there, especially since Veronica has some issues of her own that lead her to perhaps question whether it's a good idea to encourage that sort of thing, right? And we've also got great stuff with her dad, and yeah, so I'm pretty happy with the season overall. Without getting into any of the actual specific details of it, I will say that I think by the very end, the actual resolution of the mystery is a little too convoluted for its own good. Like, I mean, it's one thing to say there are lots of twists and turns, and that can be exciting in a mystery show, but at a certain point, you start to feel like this thing is just it's out of control. It's like they're setting up so many red herrings and false leads and twists and turns and everything that it just really starts becoming borderline incoherent at the end, where there's very little ability for the viewer to be practicing, like solving along with the show, because it's just the who we think is guilty changes with such rapidity towards the end that it just gets pretty bonkers. And so I wasn't really unhappy at the end. It was just a matter of it got a little out of control, I think. But overall, we introduced some interesting new side characters who are engaging to watch every time they're on screen, for sure. Lots of good moral ambiguity stuff, and lots of fan service. And so overall, I'd say if you're a Veronica Mars fan, you'll probably enjoy season 4, except for Redacted. No, just kidding. But, I mean, no, it's just that's the whole thing with trying to review with no spoilers. So just general impressions. Like I said, I liked it. Gets a little convoluted towards the end. Lots of fan service. Yep, I'll leave it there. So I will talk to you all tomorrow for 5 more minutes.